The Golden State Warriors won't say it, but the Golden State Warriors dynasty is over and it is time to make some big trades. As you all know, the Warriors are currently ranked 12th in the Western Conference, which has them out of the playoff picture, but the Golden State Warriors front office are now making massive big moves in order to help this Golden State Warriors team make back into the playoffs and hopefully win another NBA championship. In today's video, we're going to be going through the 5 major moves the Golden State Warriors are making right now before the NBA trade deadline in order to help them accomplish that this season. So make sure to like this video, and guys, 92% of you are still not subscribed to the channel, so it'd mean the world if you could subscribe to the channel, hitting that red button down below. The first is to trade Andrew Wiggins. Now this may come to a surprise, but it does seem that the time has come to an end where Andrew Wiggins needs to be traded in order for the Golden State Warriors to make moves now and to try to find a way to make it back into the playoffs. Andrew Wiggins hasn't played up to his standard, and so far this season he's averaging 11.9 points, 4.2 rebounds, and 1.5 assists. Now they aren't terrible stats, but if you look from that stats to last season, he's averaging last season 17 points, 5 rebounds, and 2.3 assists, and you see a significant difference in also his efficiency from the field. In 2022-2023 season, he shot 40% from the 3. This season, however, he's only shooting 29%. Also, effective field goal percentage, last season he was shooting 56%, and this season he's shooting 46%. So there is a huge difference. No one really knows what actually happened to Andrew Wiggins during that offseason, but he doesn't seem to be the same, and the Golden State Warriors need to make a move now. This is pretty hard to really justify due to the fact that Wiggins was definitely a huge help in their latest playoff run, but it does seem that time has come to an end and they need to move on from him due to the fact that Andrew Wiggins is still young and they can probably get a good deal for him. When it comes to some names that have been mentioned when it comes for trading Andrew Wiggins, a name that definitely pops up is Kyle Kuzma. Now, as you all know, Kyle Kuzma plays for the Washington Wizards, and the Wizards aren't the best team and they are looking to rebuild and start from scratch again, which means Kuzma is on his way out. And this could be a great deal due to the fact that Kuzma is 6'9", 221 pounds, and is only 28 years old. So he's heading into those peak years in the NBA where he's got good youth behind him, but also has a lot of experience in the NBA. And so far this season, he's averaging 22 points, 6.4 rebounds, and 4.2 assists, while also shooting 35% from the 3 and an effective field goal percentage of 52%. I think Kuzma is a great offensive big, and this is something that the Warriors desperately need. Now, the Warriors definitely are struggling on offense and defense, but I think adding that extra score to this starting 5 that they have right now, I think could definitely be a huge asset. Kuzma is not only just a naturally gifted scorer, but he definitely does space out the floor due to the fact that he's a 3-level scorer, can score inside, mid-range, and outside, which is what makes him very versatile on the offensive side of things. The second is to trade Klay Thompson. Now, as sad as this may be, as we all know, Klay Thompson is the second splash brother to Stephen Curry, but it does seem that this time has come to an end as the Golden State Warriors desperately need to move on. When it comes to Klay Thompson so far this season, he is putting up 17.3 points, 3.5 rebounds, and also 2.4 assists. So he's not really doing that bad of a job all season. He has had great games in the past during the season. However, it does seem that they need a little bit more firepower if they want to get it done and head back into that playoff picture. And Klay Thompson may not actually help them get them there. And as sad as it may seem, it does seem that the Splash Brothers may come to an end, and that right now Klay Thompson is still a great player and can still definitely help out another team, which means that this is a very good trade as there's a lot of trade value behind Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson, 6'6", 215 pounds, and is still 33 years of age, so he's still got a lot of years left. But a trade suggestion that has come up multiple times so far this season throughout ESPN and also even just the front office in general was to trade for Buddy Hield with Klay Thompson. Now this may come as a huge surprise as Buddy Hield, 6'4", 220 pounds, 31 years old, and is only averaging 12.8 points, 3.3 rebounds, and 2.7 assists. Now this may sound like a bit of a surprise as Klay Thompson is averaging a lot more points, but at the end of things, Buddy Hield could be a great asset due to the fact that he is a little bit younger, is also shooting at an efficient rate, and is also a great defender. On top of this, when it comes to this deal, Klay Thompson for Buddy Hield would actually see, someone like Pacers get a lot more value out of it, and that's why having Pacers add maybe one player or maybe even a couple of draft picks could definitely make this trade more even, which is why the Warriors have been very interested in making this trade. I think getting two good players for one good player is definitely a positive, especially in Golden State Warriors current roster, or even getting one good player on top of a couple of draft picks for the future could definitely be very beneficial as well. But there's a reason why this trade has come up multiple times, and I think it is a pretty smart trade as of right now if the Golden State Warriors can not only just get Buddy Hield, but maybe an extra player or a couple of draft picks. The third move is for the Golden State Warriors to trade Draymond Green. Now this may come to a surprise, but it does seem that it is over for the big three of Klay Thompson, Stephen Curry, and Draymond Green. As you all know, Draymond has had his fair share of bans so far this season, and he was actually considering retiring. However, Draymond Green has come back, but it does seem that it is not the same, as Draymond Green has missed on too many games, and on top of that, they just don't seem to be functioning as well as they used to. When it comes to Draymond Green so far this season, he is averaging 9.5 points, 5.6 rebounds, and 5.7 assists. He's still a great player, but I do believe the small ball of him being at 6'6", playing power forward, may have actually come to an end. Teams are getting bigger and also teams are getting faster, and because of that, small ball hasn't worked as well as I thought it would for this Golden State Warriors team. Now, a name that has come up when it comes to Draymond Green being traded for is none other than Steven Adams. Now, as you all know, Steven Adams so far is playing for none other than the Memphis Grizzlies, but it does seem that the Grizzlies' hope have not been as it was due to the fact that Ja Morant had a season-ending injury, and because of that, we may see someone like Steven Adams may wanting a change and may go somewhere else where there's more playoff potential. Now, obviously, the Golden State Warriors have fallen quite a bit, but I think Steven Adams could definitely be a huge boost for this Golden State Warriors team. Steven Adams so far for the Memphis Grizzlies is averaging 8.6 points, 11.5 rebounds, and 2.3 assists. I think it's time to get a bit of size in this Warriors lineup, and with him being 6'11", 265 pounds, and considered one of the strongest players in the league throughout the NBA, I think having him in a roster like the Golden State Warriors could definitely be very beneficial. Steven Adams is still only 30 years old, which I think is great as well. He's still in those peak years of having good youth and also good experience in the NBA, and that's why I think this trade makes a lot of sense, because it could set up the Warriors for not just the next year or so, but also the next couple of years, as Steven Adams is still in his early 30s. The fourth move is to trade Chris Paul. Now, this may come to a surprise, because Chris Paul has only played 32 games so far with the Golden State Warriors, and he hasn't done a bad job, averaging 8.9 points, 3.8 rebounds, and 7.2 assists. So he has been putting up some really good numbers. However, it does seem that Chris Paul may come to an end due to the fact that he doesn't just provide that star power that the Golden State Warriors desperately need to get over that hump. A big problem with Chris Paul is that he is only 6 foot, 175 pounds, and when the Golden State Warriors face off against bigger teams, he's a bit of a liability on defense, and they definitely target him when it comes to the defensive side of things. Now, the Golden State Warriors have a lot of great assets right now to trade for, and before the trade deadline, I think Chris Paul could be traded for someone really good. And a player that has come up is none other than Gordon Hayward, who's 6'7", 225 pounds, and is only 33 years old. Now, this may not be considered young, but you do have to realize Chris Paul is 38, so you are getting a much younger player than CP3, and on top of that, Gordon Hayward has been very healthy as of recent. Now, he is averaging 14.5 points, 4.7 rebounds, and 4.6 assists, which I think is great, and because of that, I think Gordon Hayward could definitely provide that scoring that they desperately need. Right now, he is injured with a left calf strain. You know, he is going to be reevaluated in 2 weeks from now, but I do believe if staying healthy, Gordon Hayward can definitely do it, especially for a team like the Golden State Warriors. And on top of that, when it comes to Gordon Hayward being traded right now, they could definitely get a good deal since Hayward is still injured. So I think there's definitely going to be a huge effect if they get someone like Gordon Hayward, especially coming off the bench. You know, Hayward, as we all know, is an all-star, and he definitely has the capabilities to be a great scorer off the bench, and he can provide a great six-man role, I think, for this Warriors roster. The fifth move the Golden State Warriors need to make is to change their play style, or maybe even change their coach. Now, I think Steve Kerr is a great coach, but the biggest problem right now is that Steve Kerr continues to run small ball, this fast-paced basketball with a lot of small players, and it just doesn't work in today's NBA. Due to the fact that players are getting taller, and not only are they getting taller, but they are getting more faster, more versatile, and because of that, it really does have a huge effect on the game. If we look at someone like Victor Wembanyama, you see Spurs actually do a really good job at actually playing against the Golden State Warriors, and one of the reasons for that is no one can really guard Victor Wembanyama if your tallest player on the floor is 6'7" or 6'8" when Kevon Looney does play, and this is a huge problem. We've seen this this happen time and time again, especially against bigger teams. You know, Timberwolves are a big team, Lakers are a big team, same with Spurs that they have Wemby, you know, a team like Oklahoma City Thunder that they have lost to time and time again. There's a lot of bigger teams, but the fact that they are bigger and also quicker than them, it really does have a huge problem on the Warriors roster. The Warriors need to start getting players that definitely fit the new style of play, and I feel that Steve Kerr's, you know, style of play is definitely a little bit more old school than today's NBA, and it definitely needs to change, or the coach needs to change with it. So there's definitely a big factor. I think Steve Kerr is still a great coach, but I think the game plan coming into these games, running small ball, having your center be only 6'7", 6'6", just doesn't work in today's NBA, as taller players at 6'11", 7 foot, or even past that are getting faster and faster. So there definitely needs to be a whole new roster, a whole new game plan if the Warriors want to make it back into the playoffs, and if they want to win another NBA championship during this Stephen Curry era. Stephen Curry is still playing at a very high level. He does have games where he is, you know, a bit off at times, but that could be of a lot of different factors, as since he is the main and only scorer, it does make it hard for him to get his shots off.